we have discussed the single pulse modulation technique, multiple pulse modulation technique, and then after we see the sinusoidal pulse width modulation technique. Okay. In sinusoidal pulse width modulation technique, we have seen that there are two types. One is bipolar technique and another is unipolar technique. Okay. So we already studied the bipolar technique in which we compare the sine wave, which is your carrier, which is your reference wave, with the triangular wave, which is nothing but a carrier signal. Yeah. So we compare the sinusoidal signal with the triangular wave, and logic is when your sine wave is greater than triangular wave, at that time generate the gate pulse, which we call as a VG1. So that VG1 is applied to both the switch S1 and S2 simultaneously. So both are turned on at the same time. So that gives the positive voltage across this A and B terminal. So current is flowing from P, S1, A, load, B, S2 and negative. So that gives the positive voltage with this polarity VAB. So you can see in this figure you get the voltage VAB at the output side here, this one. Now exactly opposite, when your reference the sine wave is less than triangular wave, at that time generate the VG3, exactly invert of VG1. So that gate pulse you apply to S3 and S4 switch simultaneously. So at the load side you get the negative voltage. So current is flowing from this positive S3 B terminal, load A, S4 and negative. So load voltage polarity is upper is negative, lower is positive. It means you get the minus VAB. So you get the minus VAB. You can see here when you get the VG3, at that time you get the minus VAB. So by this way you get the output voltage. But what is important thing is that first positive half cycle of your output voltage, you can see that the width of positive voltage is more than width of negative pulse. So if you take the average of output voltage at every angle, you get the half of the sine wave in first positive cycle. Because positive width of output voltage is more than this negative voltage. You can see that from 0 to 90 width is increasing, and from 90 to 180 width is decreasing. Yeah, so it is look like a sine wave. Same way in the negative cycle, from 180 to 270, you can see that width of negative pulse is increasing as compared to the positive. So if you take the average, you get the negative, and this is increasing from 180 to 270 degree. And from 270 to 360, width of output voltage in the negative polarity decreases, and at the 360 you get the zero voltage if you take the average of this. So if you take the average of positive and negative cycle and join this each and every average point, so you get the sine wave. Clear? And then after, if you do the FFT analysis of this output voltage, you get the higher order harmonics that we will see, that we have already seen in the simulation in the last lab. Clear? So this is a simulation of bipolar PWM technique, and this is the logic by which you can apply the gate pulse to S1, S2 from the output of this logical operator, and then invert of this, it means to the not logical operator you give the output or gate pulse to switch numbers 3 and 4. Clear? And by the FFT analysis, we analyze that the output contains the higher order harmonics, and the dominant higher order harmonic is this MF. So here in this simulation, we take the frequency of the carrier signal. This carrier signal frequency here we take is a 1000 Hz, and sine wave frequency is 50 Hz. So MF is the frequency ratio of carrier divided by frequency of reference. It means 1000 divided by 50. So you get the 20. Frequency modulation ratio MF, you get 20. So first dominant harmonic you get 20th order. That you can also check in the FFT analysis here. 20th order is the highest order of harmonics. Clear? And then second dominant order harmonic is MF plus minus 2. It means 20 plus minus 2. It means 18 and 22. So you can see that here this is the 18th order and this is the 22th order. Then in the second level, dominant harmonic is 2MF plus minus 1. It means 39 and 41. So that also you can see in the FFT analysis. This is the 39 and this one is the 14. Okay? And same way 3MF. It means 16th order. In the third level, you can see that 16th order, that is the dominant order. So in short, by the FFT analysis, you can check that here in the bipolar technique, you get the higher order harmonics, amplitude is high, but the lower order harmonics like 3, 7, 3, 5, 7 all have a value nearer to the 0. Clear? So it means that you require the small size of the filter if you design the inverter with the bipolar technique, because low order harmonics require the large size of the filter, where higher order harmonics like this 20, 18 and 22 that requires the small size of the filter. As you see that the frequency is inversely proportional to L and C, so size of L and C decreases as you increase the order of frequency. So ultimately aim of this technique is to reduce the lower order harmonics and make the size of filter as small as possible. Okay, so this is one of the advantage of using this bipolar PWM, bipolar SPWM technique. Okay. Now let's see that second one, which is the unipolar technique. In this technique, the logic is same as we discussed in the previous lecture, that compare the sine wave with the triangular, but here you compare the two sine wave with the triangle. One is as it is positive sine wave, this one you compare with the triangular wave, and another is the inverted sine wave compared with the triangle wave. Inverted means one sine wave is 180 degree phase shifted as compared to the first one. It means first negative cycle start, this one, and then positive cycle start. And first sine wave is positive cycle start first and then negative cycle start. Clear? So here you require the two reference signal. One sine wave with the phase shift of 0 degree, it means first positive cycle start, and another sine wave signal with the 180 degree phase shift, so it means first negative cycle start. And compare both this sine wave, which is the reference wave, with the triangular wave, which is your carrier signal. Clear? Now, first you compare this positive sine wave with the triangular wave. Logic is same as your reference signal, the sine wave is greater than triangular wave, generate the gate pulse. So you can see that here this point and this point, your sine wave is more than this triangular wave. Okay. So at that time generate the gate pulse that we call as a VG1. Okay. So that VG1 you apply to only and only to the switch number S1. Remember this thing? Applied this VG1 to only and only switch number S1, not S1 and S2 both. Okay. In the previous bipolar SPWM technique, we apply the VG1 to both the switch S1 and S2 simultaneously. But in this unipolar technique, we applied this VG1 gate pulse to only and only switch number S1. Okay. Now, exactly inward of this VG1 that applied to switch number 4. Why? Because S1 and S4 must be turned on in complementary fashion. Suppose both are turned on at the same time. If S1 and S4 turn on at the same time, what will happen? Your supply will be short circuited. Okay. So S1 and S4 gate pulse always a complementary. It means when S1 is on, S4 is off condition. Or when S1 is off, S4 is on condition. Same way for the second leg, when S3 is on, S2 is in off condition, and vice versa. Clear? So first this VG1 gate was applied to S1 switch, and exactly complementary of this VG1 that is not drawn here, exactly complementary of VG1 that applied to switch number 4. Clear? Now gate pulse for S3 that you get by comparing this inverted sine wave and triangular wave comparison. Now logic is same, when your sine wave is greater than this triangular wave, at that time this gives the VG3. So you can see that from this point to this point, between these 2 points, your sine wave is less negative as compared to this. It means sine wave is greater than this triangular wave. So at that time they generate the VG3. This is the gate pulse for switch number S3, this switch. And exactly complementary of this gate pulse applied to switch number S2. Okay. So in short, here in the unipolar technique, you have 4 different gate pulses. Okay. Here in this figure, you can see the VG1 and VG3, that is the only gate pulse of S1 and S3. So S1 complementary applied to S4 and S3 complementary is applied to S2. But as you know that you get the output voltage VAB positive only and only when S1 and S2 both are turned on at the same time. If only S1 is on and S2 is off, then you not get the output voltage VAB. Clear? Same way here, if S3 is only on and S4 is off, again you not get the full negative voltage minus VAB. So you get the output voltage only and only when both the switch S1 and S2 is on, or when S3 and S4 is on. So here there is a common period where S1 and S2 is on, only that time you get the positive voltage, and same way when S3 and S4 is on, there is a common period, during this you get the negative voltage. Clear? So let's see this by here, drawing the waveform here, you can see here. All of you can see this waveform?
Yes, sir.
You can see the waveform here at the board. देखा जाएगा waveform? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
It is visible? All of you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. So let's see that here. This is the VG1. Let's draw here the circuit diagram of single phase full bridge inverter. Okay. Suppose this is switch number 1, switch number 4. Here you apply the DC voltage. Here there is a load where you measure the quantity. This is the S3 and this is the S2. Clear? Follow. So here, this first gate pulse VG1 that applied to only switch number S1. Here. Here. So suppose this is the gate pulse of VG1. By comparing the positive sine wave with the triangular wave, when the reference sine wave is greater than triangular wave, at that time you get these gates. Exactly complementary of this VG1 that you apply to S2. So exactly complementary of VG1. It means whenever VG1 is 0, at that time you apply the gate pulse to VG4. It means this way. Same way, here VG1 is 0, that is a VG4. So this gate pulse applied to switch number S1. So you can see that S1 and S4 cannot be turned at the same time. If it is turned on, what will happen? Your supply will be short circuited. Clear? So that's why you must keep in mind that both must be turned on in complementary fashion. Same way here S3 and S4 both are turned on in the complementary fashion. So now we get the VG3 by comparing this negative sine wave with the triangular wave, and we get, suppose this is the VG3 gate pulse for switch number S3, this one. Here, and exactly complementary of this, that is given to switch number S2. Here, so you can see that this is suppose VG3, so exactly complementary. This is VG2. When VG3 is 0 here, at that time you get the VG2 gate pulse for switch number S2. Same way here where VG3 is 0, here you get the VG2 for switch number S2. Now as you know that when you get the load voltage here, when S1 and S2 both are common simultaneously, so that current can flow from supply S1 load and S2 and negative. Here, then and then you get the load voltage VAB. Suppose this is A terminal, suppose this is B terminal. Clear? So you can see that there is a common period where VG1 and VG2 both are turned on. So let's find out from here. So you can see that VG1 is turned on or S1 is turned on from this point. Compare with the gate pulse of VG2. VG2 means switch number 2. So at this point also VG2, it means S2 is on. When S1 start on, at that time S2 is already on. Okay. Now after that the VG1 is on, remain on up to this point, but you can see that VG2 is remain on up to this point. Okay. So this is a common period starting from here and ending from here. where both this switch S1 and S2 turn on simultaneously. Only this duration of time. So only that duration of time you get the load voltage VAB. Clear? So only during this period at the output side you get the positive voltage. You get the positive voltage. Same way, suppose we require the negative voltage. So at that time S3 and S4 must be turned on simultaneously. So S3 is what? Where is S3? Here. Here. So S3 is on here. S4 is on here. So you can see that there is no common interval where S3 and S4 turn on simultaneously in the positive cycle of your supply. It means between 0 to 180 degree, S3 and S4 never turn on simultaneously. So you never get the output voltage negative. Yeah. But in the negative cycle from 180 to 360 degree, when you get the gate pulse for S3 and S4, in that case there is a common interval, same like this way, S1 and S2, where both are turned on simultaneously, so that you get the negative voltage. So let's see in the waveform so you can understand clearly. Now you can see here, the waveform you can see that here we draw the VG1 and only VG3. Clear? VG2 and VG4 is not drawn here, so that's why I drew here in the blackboard. But you can see that you get the common interval of S1 and S2 turn on only during the positive cycle, only during this positive cycle. So you can see that in the output voltage you get the only positive VAB. You can see here. There is no negative voltage. In bipolar technique, you can see that you get the negative voltage in positive cycle also. Let's see the waveform again for the bipolar technique. Yes, here you can see that you get the positive as well as negative. But if you take the average of the positive and negative, that is positive in the first half cycle. But here in the case of unipolar technique, in the first positive cycle, it means 0 to 180 degree, when you compare this sine wave with the triangular wave, you get the only common interval where S1 and S2 is turned on. You not get the interval where S3 and S4 turn on simultaneously. So that's why you not get the negative voltage here. But after this 180 degree to 360 degree, exactly opposite happen. You not get the common interval where S1 and S2 both turn on simultaneously. So you will not never get the positive voltage. But you get the common interval between S3 and S4 where both are turned on simultaneously. So you get the negative voltage. So that's why you can see that this technique is named given unipolar technique. The reason is that any one half cycle you get the positive or negative voltage. Where in the bipolar technique, in any half cycle you get both the positive as well as negative. That's why that technique is called as a bipolar technique. Clear? So what is the advantage of this technique? Let's see here. That we check again by the FFT analysis. By the MATLAB simulation, you can find out that the dominant harmonic in the case of unipolar technique is higher frequency as compared to the bipolar technique. So again, this waveform is output voltage waveform is more nearer to the sine wave that we can prove by using the FFT analysis. So first we make the simulation in the MATLAB that we will discuss in this lab session this week at the Friday. But let's check what are the dominant harmonic in the unipolar technique. Again, in this simulation, again I take the reference wave sine wave frequency is 50 Hz and the carrier wave's frequency is 1000 Hz. So my MF, frequency modulation ratio, MF is 20. So in this case, I get the first dominant harmonic is 2 MF plus minus 1. It means 2 into 20 plus minus 1, so that is 39 and 41. 39 and 41, that is my first dominant harmonics. So let's check by the FFT analysis. You can see that first dominant harmonic, this one is 39 and the second one, that is a 41. With the same value of carrier frequency, 1000, as we have taken in the bipolar technique. So what will happen here? The dominant harmonic frequency is increased. In the case of unipolar technique, first dominant harmonic is what? 20th order. But here in this case, first dominant harmonic is 39 and 41. So what is the advantage of this technique? Because of the higher dominant harmonic frequency, you require the small size of filter to remove this harmonic. Clear? Because as the frequency of harmonic is increases, you require the small size of filter because value of L and C is decreases. Clear? So in the unipolar technique, as compared to the bipolar technique, you require the small size of the filter. So that is the advantage of this unipolar technique compared to bipolar technique. So generally we prefer to use the unipolar technique if you require the less amount of the harmonic or if you require the less costly filter in your inverters. Clear? So this is the advantage and comparison between unipolar and bipolar technique. All of you get this point? Is there any doubt in unipolar technique? Anyone? Is there any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. So the practical simulation of this unipolar technique will discuss this Friday. So at that time we can get the clearly idea how we get this dominant harmonies 2mm plus minus 1 and 2mm plus minus 3 like this way. Clear? So that we will discuss in detail in the lab session. Now just you understand that you get the dominant harmonic frequency which is more than the dominant harmonic frequency which you get in the bipolar technique. Yes, so that's why you require the less size of the filter. Now this is all about the sinusoidal PWM technique, bipolar and unipolar. Next, fourth PWM technique is modified sinusoidal pulse width modulation technique. In short, we call as MSPWM, modified sinusoidal pulse width modulation. This is a modified version of the previous sinusoidal pulse width modulation technique. So let's check what is the modification done in this technique. So logic is same, you compare the sine wave with the triangular wave, but the difference is that you can see here in this figure, you generate the triangular wave only first 60 and last 60 degree of your half cycle. You can see here the triangular wave is generated only between 0 to 60 degree and then 120 to 180 degree. It means first 60 degree and last 60 degree of your half cycle. Same way in the negative cycle also. So what will happen because of that? You get the more reference or more fundamental output voltage because number of pulses per half cycle decreases. You can see that. So what will happen? The fundamental component will increase. As we can compare the single pulse width modulation and multiple pulse width modulation technique, at that time we will discuss that and compare with the fundamental component value. At that time we verify that the fundamental component value is higher in case of single pulse width modulation as compared to multiple pulse width modulation technique. So let's again see it. So see that here in the single pulse width modulation technique, our peak magnitude of fundamental component is for the width 2D is equal to 72, we get 7.7484 Vs. But for the two pulse modulation technique, we get the peak magnitude of the fundamental component that is 0.637 times Vs. It means that as we increase the number of pulses per half cycle, the peak magnitude of fundamental component that will decrease. It means that you get the less power at the output side of the inverter as you increase the number of pulses. Like 2, 3, 4, 5 pulses. As you increase the number of pulses, the fundamental component magnitude decreases. So to increase this fundamental component in the sinusoidal pulse width modulation technique, we modify here by taking this modification. We apply the triangular wave. You can see here in this figure. Apply the triangle on the first 60 and last 60 degree of half cycle. So in between this 60 to 120 degree, you get the large value of the output voltage because large value of gate pulse you apply. So because of this reason, the fundamental component is increased and another is harmonic characteristic is improved. And third biggest advantage that as the number of pulses decrease, the number of switching is reduced, so switching loss will also reduce. As you know that as you turn on and turn off the switch number of time, that will increase the switching losses. So here by this modification we can decrease the number of pulses per half cycle, so that will decrease the switching losses of your inverter. So because of this advantage, we sometimes use this modified sinusoidal pulse width modulation technique to improve the fundamental component. And fifth one is the phase displacement control method to control the output voltage of the inverter. It is same like as we see the conventional method of control the output voltage by taking the two series inverter output voltage by phase shift, we change the output voltage. Same like here you can see that phase displacement control technique. So first waveform you can see that is the output voltage of first half bridge inverter. So that gives a plus Vs by 2 and minus Vs by 2. And second output, that is another half bridge inverter, which is 180 degree phase shifted, means first negative output voltage minus Vs by 2 and then plus Vs by 2. So after this combining the output voltage of both this inverter, at the load side you get the resultant output voltage. So first inverter output voltage Vs by 2 minus output voltage of the second inverter, so that gives the total output voltage. So here in this case it is Vs in first half cycle, and the second half cycle you get the minus Vs. So this output voltage is for 180 degree phase displacement. You can see that inverter 2, second half bridge inverter 2, that is 180 degree phase shifted as compared to the first half bridge inverter. But suppose your second half bridge inverter is phase shifted by beta degree as compared to the output voltage of first half bridge inverter. So now combine this both the output voltage, this Vs by 2 and this output voltage. So you get the output voltage only between 0 to beta. This Vs by 2 minus this minus Vs by 2. So only this beta angle you get the plus Vs. After that you get the Vs by 2 and Vs by 2, so that becomes 0. Okay. So based on the phase displacement between both the inverter output voltage, you can vary the magnitude at the load side of the inverter, as well as you can control the harmonic also. Clear? But first aim of this all the PWM technique is to control the magnitude of the output voltage of the inverter. So in all this technique, single pulse modulation, multiple pulse modulation, sinusoidal pulse width modulation, modified sinusoidal pulse modulation, and this phase displacement control, all these 5 PWM techniques, we first modify or change the magnitude of the output voltage, and then as a byproduct of that we get the less harmonic control. Clear? But our first aim is to control the magnitude of the output. Clear? So here I complete this all this PWM technique to control the output voltage of the inverter. This is the internal control of the inverter. All of you clear this one? Is there any doubt? Yes? Anyone? Is there any doubt? All these 5 different PWM techniques? Yes or no? Yes or no? Please give the answer. Chinmay 7 number. Understand all these PWM techniques?
No, sir. No, sir.
Sorry? Chinmay 7 number.
No, sir. No doubt.
Okay, 9 number 9.
Yes, sir.
Is there any doubt in all this PWM technique?
No, sir.
So which one is the best PWM techniques? In terms of harmonic, 9. Out of these 5 different PWM techniques, which technique you use in the inverter to reduce the harmonic? 9 number, 9. Give me the answer.
Yes, sir.
Give me the answer. 9 number. Give me the answer. Which technique is best suited to reduce the harmonic at the output side of the inverter? Then I ask you, the question for you, 9 number. Give me the answer quickly.
Yes, sir.
What yes, sir? Give me the answer. You understand all these things, PWM technique? You say yes, that's why I asked you the question. This one. બધી ખબર પડી ગઈ તમને એટલે હું આ ક્વેશ્ચન પૂછું તમને 9 number.
Yes, sir.
Give me the answer. Not yes, sir. You are present in the last lecture, Nayan?
Yes, sir.
So why not understand this? And yes, I forgot to tell you the 39 number and 40. You have not completed the work which I given to the last lecture. 39 number I give the example 100 times and 40 number 50 times. You are not submitted me. Only 31 and 41 numbers submitted me the.
Sir, I have mailed. Sir, I have mailed you.
Which number? 40.
40.
ક્યારે મેલ કરેલું તમે?
Sir, 8 દિવસે રાતે કરેલું.
Okay, હું જોઈ લઈશ. Then what about 39 number? તમને મેં 100 times આપી દઉં. See બધું હું લખું છું અહીંયા બરાબર છે મારી પાસે રેકોર્ડ છે બધાનો. And this will directly reflect to your exam marks. I know that some of the students just open this lecture and not present physically or mentally there. That's why I asked the question in between the lecture. Yes, what about 39 number? Chirag.
સર બાકી છે હજી.
તો કેમ બાકી છે? Give me today, otherwise your work will be double. Okay, 100 to 200 થઈ જશે. Yes, 9 number. કંઈક યાદ આવ્યું પાછું? 9. What is my question? મેં શું ક્વેશ્ચન કર્યું તમને?
Which PWM technique is more suitable to reduce the harmonics?
Yes, very good. Now, ચલો આન્સર આપો એનો. And give me the justification. आज લેક્ચરમાં મેં ડિસ્કસ કર્યું હમણાં ડિસ્કસ કર્યું કઈ ટેકનિક બેટર છે. Which technique you can say that better? From which analysis you can say that your technique is better as compared to other technique? We already see the analysis in the simulation also. કઈ ટેકનિક તમે ફાઇન્ડ કરી શકો? Give the name of the technique. Just. Name. Give me just the name of technique which we use for the harmonic analysis.
FFT.
FFT analysis. Okay, very good. Now tell me in which method the harmonics are less. Lower order harmonics are less. Particularly lower order harmonics are less. In which technique? કઈ ટેકનિકમાં લોઅર ઓર્ડર હાર્મોનિક્સ છે ઓછા હોય છે? વેરી સિમ્પલ ક્વેશ્ચન. 5 ટેકનિક ભણ્યા સિંગલ પલ્સ, મલ્ટીપલ પલ્સ, sinusoidal pulse width modulation. In that we studied 2 techniques, bipolar, unipolar, then modified SPWM, and then this one phase displacement control. Out of all these 5 methods, in which method the lower order harmonics are less? 9 number, read all these 5 PWM techniques. I will ask the question from this again in the next lecture. Clear?
Yes.
Next 13 number, same question. Which technique is better? Dhruv.
Yes, sir.
Which technique is better and why? Which technique is better NY. Dhruv Hiran, 13 number.
Yes, sir.
Give me the answer. ઘરે બધા વાંચો છો કે પછી ડાયરેક્ટ લેક્ચરમાં જ આવો છો અને લેક્ચરમાં ધ્યાન આપો છો કે નહીં? યસ 13 નંબર કે ખાલી બેસી રહ્યો સામે તો ચાલુ કરીને જતા રહો છો ફરવા?
No, sir. No, sir.
તો ध्यान આપ્યું હોય તો આવડવું જોઈએ. If you are present in the last lecture and in this lecture, then you must know about this thing. Because આપણે ડિટેલમાં સમજ્યા છે as well as we already understand through the practical also. Last time we did the practical of bipolar PWM technique. In that we already simulate this technique and do the effective analysis and check the dominant or the harmonics. And today we will see the theory of unipolar technique. Clear? So now give the answer, which technique is better? Again, read all these 5 different techniques. I will ask the question to you in the next lecture. 9 number and 13 number, both of you.
Yes, sir.
Prepare all these 5 techniques. Read from the PS Bimra, or you can again watch my recorded video. I will ask the question in tomorrow's lecture. Yeah? Both of you, 9 and 13 number. Okay. Again, I repeat all these things, starting from the conventional method to control the output voltage. So, what is the aim of this PWM technique is that to control the magnitude of the output voltage. Okay. So, as we see that before that we discussed the 2 conventional method, or the method which we generally not use to control the output voltage, that is external control of AC voltage and external control of DC voltage. Okay. By these 2 first technique, you can also control the output voltage, but do not go for this because it is not economically viable for your practical circuits. Yeah, because it is costly as compared to this third one method, which is the internal control of inverter. Okay. But we discussed these 2 methods, external control of AC and external control of DC input voltage. But because of the drawback, like we require the additional components, we generally prefer to use the internal control of inverter to control the output voltage. And in this internal control of inverter, we have all these 5 PWM techniques. Yeah. In internal control of inverter, we have all these 5 different PWM techniques. First is single pulse modulation, second is multiple pulse modulation, third is sinusoidal pulse modulation, fourth is modified sinusoidal pulse modulation, and fifth one is phase displacement control. First we see the single pulse modulation technique. We see the advantage that you get only single pulse, so there is no switching loss, you get the high efficiency, but at the same time the harmonic content in the output is high. Then second, we see the multiple pulse width modulation. As the name, you get the number of pulse per half cycle. So by this technique, you can reduce the lower order harmonic, because by reducing the lower order harmonic, you can reduce the size of the filter. But the problem with this multiple pulse width modulation technique is that you get the less magnitude of fundamental component. It means you get the less output power, fundamental power or useful power. So your efficiency of the inverter is less in multiple pulse width modulation as compared to single pulse width modulation. Then after we go for the sinusoidal pulse width modulation technique, in that there are 2 categories. First is bipolar technique and another is unipolar technique. Okay. In bipolar technique, as we discussed in the last lecture and last lab session, that you get the dominant harder harmonic for 1000 carrier frequency, that is 20th order harmonics. Okay. 20th order harmonic, that is the dominant order harmonics in bipolar inverter. Clear? Because you take the carrier wave, this triangular wave carrier wave frequency is 1000 Hz. As you change the frequency of this triangular wave, the dominant order harmonic frequencies also changes. Clear? So here you get the dominant harmonic is 20 because carrier frequency is 1000 and reference signal frequency is 50. So 1000 divided by 50, which is the frequency modulation ratio, so that you get 20. And in that case, your first dominant order harmonic is MF. So first dominant order harmonic is 20th order. And then second is MF plus minus 2. So that is 18th and 22 for 1000 carrier wave frequency. It means that here you reduce the lower order harmonics like 3rd, 5th and 7th. So you require the less size of the filter to remove the harmonics. Now, if we compare this with the unipolar technique, here in unipolar technique, we take the same frequency of carrier signal, which is 1000 Hz, and same frequency of sine wave, 50 Hz, and do the FFT analysis of your output voltage. So we first get the dominant order harmonic, that is 2 MF plus minus 1. Here again, carrier frequency is 1000, so MF is as it is 20. So 20 into 2 plus minus 1, it means the dominant order harmonic is 39 and 41. You can see also the by FFT analysis, this is 39 and this is 41. It means harmonic order in the unipolar technique you get large as compared to the bipolar technique. And as we know that as the frequency order of harmonic increases, the size of filter component L and C will reduces. It means the size of filter will reduces. So it means that as compared to the bipolar technique, in the unipolar technique you require this very small size of the filter to remove this higher order harmonics. Clear? And if you compare this unipolar technique with all these 5 PWM technique, so that gives the very small size of the filter, a very small distortion in your output voltage. It means your output voltage is more near to the sine wave. That we will also see in this waveform also. If you take the average of this output voltage, that is sine wave. That we can see here in this figure. You take the average point and join all these average points, so you get the output voltage nearer to the sine wave. Not exact sine wave, but nearer to the sine wave. It means that your output contains the less harmonics. So out of all this PWM technique, unipolar is the best one as compared to the other techniques. Clear now, all of you? Is there doubt? Is there a doubt to anyone?
No, sir.
Okay. So let's move for the next topic. Harmonic content in your inverter. Again, remember this all this PWM technique is just to control the output voltage, but as a byproduct of the control the output voltage, you can get also the reduced harmonic. Here. But now let's see what is the actual harmonic contribution is allowed in your actual inverter output voltage. If it is more than the limit, then what are the different methods by which we can reduce these harmonics? So in actual inverter, practical inverter, only 5% harmonic is allowed in your output voltage, 5% of fundamental component. It means suppose your fundamental component is 100 volt, so only 5 volt harmonic is allowed. If it is more than 5 volt, then you require by external means to reduce this harmonics. One of the method we know that by using the filter you can reduce the harmonic. But the problem is with the size of the filter. So except the filter, how we can reduce the harmonic? So that we discuss in this topic. Without the filter circuit, how we can reduce the harmonic? So that we discuss here. So this is the theory that harmonic is allowed only 5%, but inverter contains more than 5%. So without filter, you can use the another method to reduce this harmonic. Yeah, because problem is that if you use the filter only to reduce the harmonic, the size of the filter very large size, and this becomes very costlier, and the performance of the inverter is also becomes poor because very large loss happens in the filter circuit also. So without filter, the first technique we see that is by using the PWM techniques that we have seen in the last slides. All this PWM technique that also reduce the harmonics, but by the proper setting of all these PWM techniques, we can reduce the particular harmonics in your output voltage. So suppose that this is the waveform of your output voltage of your inverter, and by the Fourier analysis, if you derive the equation of output voltage, for that you need to first calculate the constant A0, AN and BN as we calculated for the single phase full bridge inverter. So this is a Fourier analysis constant, calculate first and then write down the final equation of output voltage. But you can see that this waveform is quarter wave symmetrical. Quarter wave symmetrical means that at every 90 degree the waveform is symmetrical. So in that case you get the A0 and AN value is 0. Only BN value is present and the value of BN is this one. Here I directly write this equation, not derive this equation. So here only BN component of Fourier analysis is present in your output voltage. So the value of this Bn is 4 Vs by pi bracket 1 minus 2 cos n alpha 1 plus 2 cos n alpha 2 divided by n. Alpha 1 is this angle and alpha 2 is this angle. Clear? Suppose in this output voltage, if I want to remove the third and fifth order harmonics completely, so in that case, what is the value of alpha 1 and alpha 2 I require? So that I calculate here. So if you put in this equation of Bn, n is equal to 3 and n is equal to 5, so you get the two equations. So let's see that here. For n is equal to 3, your B component becomes B3 and we want to nullify this component or neglect this component. So this component is 0 for particular value of alpha 1 and alpha 2 that we need to calculate. Then same way put n is equal to 5 in this equation. So B5 is equal to this equation equalized to 0. So finally from both this equation we make the two equations. First one 1 minus 2 cos 3 alpha 1 plus 2 cos 3 alpha 2 is equal to 0 from this equation. Same way from this equation is equalized to 0. So second equation is 1 minus 2 cos phi alpha 1 plus 2 cos phi alpha 2 is equal to 0. If you simplify these two equations and derive the value of alpha 1 and alpha 2, so you get alpha 1 23.62 and alpha 2 is 33.30. It means for this value of alpha 1 and alpha 2, your B3 and B5 component becomes 0. B3 and B5 component 0, it means what? Your third and fifth harmonic component in your output voltage becomes 0. So if you get the output voltage like this way in the output of the inverter with alpha 1 is this angle 23.62 and alpha 2 is 33 degree. This alpha 2 is 33 degree and alpha 1 is 23 degree. So at that angle you get the 0 value of third and fifth order harmonics. So only 7th, 9th and 11th order harmonics are present. Again repeat, why you reduce the lower order harmonic? Just because of reducing the size of filter. Clear? So your priority is that first reduce the lower order dominant order harmonics. So lower order dominant order harmonic is first 3, 5, 7, 9 and 11. Okay. So here in this technique I reduce the third and fifth order harmonics. Same way, suppose if you want to remove the fifth and seventh order harmonic, so make the B5 and B7 component of your Fourier analysis 0 for particular value of angle and find out the angle value alpha 1 and alpha 2. So based on that you can remove the harmonics. Okay. So this is the mathematical method by which you can reduce the harmonics in the inverter output voltage. Based on that you set the gate pulse which you provide to the thyristor in your inverter. Clear? So this is the first method. Again you can see here for this value of alpha 1 and alpha 2, the other order harmonics like 7, 9th and 11th, you get this value. If you put the value of n is equal to 7 and this value of alpha 1 and alpha 2, so other harmonics value is this one. Okay? Now you can see that here in this case the fundamental component magnitude, it means n is equal to 1, B1 component is 1.06 times Vs for this value of alpha 1 and alpha and the amplitude of the fundamental component for unmodulated output voltage. Unmodulated output voltage means the square wave inverter that we discussed in the first lecture of this inverter, that you get 4 Vs by pi for square bridge inverter. Peak value fundamental component, so it is 1.273 times Vs. So here you can see that in this case, this technique, your fundamental component is less than the fundamental component you get in the unmodulated, it means square wave inverter. It means that in this technique you get the less power as compared to your simple square wave inverter. Yes. Or you can say that your inverter is not operated at full capacity. If we calculate in percentage wise, suppose this is a 100% voltage in square wave, so this voltage is only 83.91% of this voltage. It means your inverter is derated by 16.09%. Derated means what? Your inverter is not operated at its full capacity. Out of the 100 watt capacity, it only operated at 83.9% capacity. Yeah. So that's why we can say that it's derated by 16.09%. 100 minus 83.91, it means 16.091% derated your inverter by using this technique. And another drawback is that additional 8 commutation per cycle is increases. So that will increase the losses. As we know that in the square wave inverter, you turn on and turn off the switch only 2 times in single cycle. Clear? But in this case, in this waveform, you can see that if you count the one cycle 0 to 2 pi here, you turn on and turn off 10 times. Clear? It means you require the extra 8 times on and off of the switch. So that will increase the switching loss. Clear? But advantage is what? That reduce the lower order harmonics. So again, here you make the compromise between the efficiency of the inverter and harmonic content in your output. So based on requirement, you select the methods to reduce the harmonics. Yeah. So this is the first method, mathematical method to reduce the harmonic content. Now second method is that harmonic reduction by the transformer connection. As we have seen in the phase displacement method, same logic is here. The two inverter output voltage are combined at the secondary side of the transformer. Make the summation, and that is the inverter output voltage, total V0. Clear? So suppose this is the output of first inverter, and this is the second inverter output voltage, this one, which is phase displaced by 60 degree, pi by 3 degree. And combine this both the output voltage at the secondary side of this transformer. So resultant voltage V0, you get this one. First 60 degree, you get V01 is plus Vs and V02 is minus Vs. So summation is Vs plus minus Vs is 0. So you get the 0 voltage. After that, from this 60 degree to 180 degree, here you can see that you get the negative voltage, you get the V02. But here you get the V01 is only between 60 to 180 degree. So when both are on, V01 is positive and V02 is positive. At that time you get the voltage. So Vs plus Vs, you get the 2 Vs here. You can see that. After that you can see that V01 becomes minus Vs and V02 is plus Vs. So resultant is 0. Okay. So by this way also you can modify the output voltage as well as you can reduce the harmonic. If you do the harmonic analysis of this waveform, you get the lower value of the dominant order harmonics. Lower order harmonics become less as compared to the square wave output. So this is the second method of reducing the harmonics by the transformer connection. Again, we will check by the harmonic analysis. So if you do the Fourier analysis of this V01, this is the square wave inverter output voltage. We already derived this equation, that is what 4 Vs by pi sin omega t plus 1 by 3 sin 3 omega t, so on, all the ordered harmonics. Same way, if you do the Fourier analysis of this V02, output voltage of inverter 2 with phase displaced by 60 degree. So you get the V02 Fourier analysis equation this way. Yeah. Only change is it is phase displaced by 60 degree. So it is omega t minus pi by 3. Here is also it is omega t minus pi by 3 in all this case. And the resultant voltage is what? V0, which is V01 plus V02. So you get the resultant voltage this one. By addition of these two voltage, you get the resultant voltage V0. It means this voltage. So this is this voltage Fourier analysis equation. You get this value directly. So in this case, what is the peak magnitude of fundamental component? That is 4 Vs by pi into root 3. If you calculate this, for the peak amplitude of the fundamental component of output voltage without phase shift. So without phase shift, what is the resultant output voltage? 4 Vs by pi plus 4 Vs by pi. So that is 8 Vs by pi. Clear? So if you combine the peak of this modulated phase shifted output voltage, resultant output voltage, and this without phase shifted output voltage, so you can check that in this case your inverter is derated by 30%. Your inverter is derated by 13%. It means that the magnitude of this resultant output voltage V0, that is 87% of this output voltage. It means 30%, 13% less than 8 Vs by pi. So in this case, your inverter is derated by 13%. It means it is less than the previous case. In the previous case, your inverter is derated by 16%. And in this case, your inverter is derated by 13%. So this method is better as compared to the previous one. Better in terms of efficiency of inverter. In this case, you get high efficiency. But problem is that you require the more number of transformers and inverter of similar rating. Okay? Here in this case, we use the 2 inverter and 2 transformer. As you increase the number of inverter, you require more and more transformers. So ultimately, that will increase the cost. Okay. So that is the second method to reduce the harmonic in your output voltage. And third one is that harmonic reduction by the stepped wave. Harmonic reduction by the stepped wave inverter. Again, this is the same type of method as we see in the previous one, but the change is here we provide the changes in the transformation ratio. In the previous one, transformation ratio is 1:1. Here the transformation ratio is 1:3. It means suppose here you get the primary side voltage 5 volt, here you get the voltage 15 volt in both the cases. Yeah. So suppose that first inverter output voltage is 3 times your primary voltage. Suppose primary voltage is Vs. It means the output voltage of inverter 1 is Vs. So at the secondary side of the inverter, you get the output voltage 3 Vs. Yeah. So suppose this is the V01 at the secondary side of the inverter. First inverter output voltage. Here, second part of this transformer, that is a 1:1 rated. It means suppose here it is Vs, secondary side you also get the Vs. So this inverter support gives this type of output voltage Vs, and resultant voltage you get load side, that is V0. So by addition of this V01 and V02, you get the resultant voltage V0 here. So you can see here for this waveform of V01 and V02, first period V01 is 0 here. At that time you get the V02 with the magnitude Vs. So resultant output voltage in this duration you get what? Plus Vs. You can see here. Now after that, your V01 voltage is shift from 0 to 3 Vs at this side. At that time V02 becomes minus Vs. So 3 Vs plus minus Vs. So resultant voltage is what? 2 Vs. So you can see that here you get it 2 Vs for that duration of period. Clear? After that you can see that V02 becomes 0. Your V01 is as it is 3 Vs. So resultant is 3 Vs. You can see here during this period where V02 is 0. At that period you get the V0 is 3 Vs. After that in V02 you becomes Vs. Your V01 is as it is Vs. Sorry, 3 Vs. So 3 Vs plus Vs, it is 4 Vs. Same way from this angle 90 to 180, this voltage decreases. Okay. So if you see that the resultant voltage in half cycle, that voltage becomes nearer to the sine wave. It is look like a sine wave. You can see this. Not exact sine wave, but it is look like a sine wave. So by this technique, you get the output voltage more and more near to the sine wave. It means your output contains very less harmonics, particularly the lower order harmonics. So again, by this method, you can reduce the harmonics to a very low value. But again, the problem is require the extra inverter and transformers. But in this case, you can reduce the harmonics to a very low value. So these are the three methods by which you can reduce the harmonic without the filter circuit. Okay. Also, you can reduce the harmonic by using the PWM techniques. After that, to reduce the higher order dominant of the harmonics, you use the filter circuit. But the size is less because the frequency is very high for the higher orders. So that's why in the practical inverter, first your aim is to reduce the lower order harmonics. After the reduction of the lower order harmonics, you use the filter circuit to just reduce the only higher order harmonics. So that size of filter is less, and your overall size of your inverter is becomes very compact and less costly. Yeah. So this is all about the inverter output voltage control as well as inverter output voltage harmonic control. All of you clear this concept? Is there any doubt to anyone? Because this topic is complete here. The next topic is the three-phase inverter. So here I complete the topic of single-phase inverter, different PWM techniques, different harmonic control techniques. Clear all of you here? Is there any doubt? Yes or no? Is there any doubt to anyone?
No, sir.
Okay. So
No,
here I
sir.
stop this lecture. We will meet tomorrow morning with the new topic, three-phase inverter. Yeah? So now you can leave this meeting. Thank you for joining the lecture. All of you, please
Thank you,
read
sir.
all these topics which are complete, which are already completed. Okay, because this is a very important chapter, exam point of view as well as for the learning point of view also. Yeah?
Sir,
Yes.
sir, have you have the PDF soft copy of this book?
PS Bimra.
Yes, sir.
I think मैं તમને सबमिट मेल કર્યો નથી આપી મેં તમને. Okay, I will share this PDF file to you. Okay.
Okay, okay, sir.
Okay. So here I stop this lecture. Now you can leave this meeting.